Today we are talking about North Carolina versus Duke, a great rivalry that occurred February 3rd, which is yesterday when I released this. I'm actually recording this the morning of, so the game has not occurred yet, and I'm going to discuss what I'm looking for and why in particular I'm looking for it, and kind of what is my process for looking for a game or analyzing a game prior to it occurring. So the first thing we're going to start with is what is one thing that North Carolina does well, or one thing they try and do on the regular. So the first thing they try and do on the regular is they want to get the ball in the post. They like to go through Bacot, and then so our question is going to be, one, what is Duke going to do to prevent this? And then two, when it does occur, because inevitably it will occur, what will Duke do in response to this? So the first thing we're going to look at Georgia Tech is, who are they aggressively helping off right now? 2 and 55. They are aggressively helping. So they're aggressively helping because they're relative non-shooters or deemed non-shooters, and so is Duke going to do the same? And so the next question I follow is, how has Duke done in the past against teams or players that have a big post or something similar to what North Carolina does? And so the first thing that came to mind is Ballo for Arizona is fairly similar to Bacot, and how did Duke guard him? So the first thing is 15 is aggressively fronting. Okay, so that's check one for similar to what they've seen in the past. If you can aggressively front and just keep it out of there, have success that way. Then, however, Arizona obviously didn't give up just simply because of a couple fronts. They are going to try and find ways to get Ballo the ball down low, and so they run some nice little ball screen, little motion to create space, and then Ballo separates with his left hand and is able to throw the ball to the inside. What does Duke do? They aggressively help. Okay, so first off, the other big Filipowski in this situation is aggressively helping, and you can also say that one of these defenders is also kind of helping. They're spacing out the floor, and so they're allowing Ballo to work one-on-one, saying, we got help if you need it, but just stay one-on-one, force a difficult shot. So then finally we get to the most recent game between Duke and North Carolina, which was last March. Okay, so as the ball gets moved around, what does Duke do? Immediately starts to front. So I would anticipate that's going to happen in today's game for sure. However, North Carolina, being a creative team, being a good, well-coached team, what are they going to do to get open looks? Okay, we can see a little motion, again, some screens, and here's another ball screen. So use that to create separation and get Bacot the ball down low. What does Duke do last year? So we can see 1, aggressive help right here. 2, aggressive help from 25. Okay, so I would anticipate Bacot seeing a fair amount of pressure from the help side defense. Okay, similar to what Georgia Tech did. And so then the question is Bacot going to be able to either score efficiently shooting from distance with like a little hook shot or something like that, or be able to find passes outside to the perimeter where not only is the pass going to be on target, but then the player catching the ball is also going to be able to shoot it efficiently. We're going to look for A, was Duke successful in fronting the post? B, when they got the ball into Bacot, was Bacot able to score with efficiency or use it to create open looks for other shooters? In other words, was North Carolina able to play their game, or was Duke able to limit their game from being played, period? It'll be about 6 hours for me, but about 2 seconds for you. Let's go. And boom, here we are, approximately 24 hours later. I'm going to post this here in about an hour. It's the morning after UNC versus Duke game. We're going to look at essentially the 3 things that I discussed in that prior video, which is this same video. First, let's talk about the front. So in these first clips, we're watching how Filipowski is guarding Bacot. We can see when Bacot goes to post up, Filipowski is making sure he has a hand up, trying to deter any passes, immediately swipes that arm down, gets hand in the passing lane to make sure there is no easy pass to Bacot. We can see that, as I talked about, this is a part of Duke's game plan. This is something they're probably going to go into if they face good post players in the future. Again, they will. We can see Filipowski here, hand up, denying the pass. As Bacot spins around, Filipowski doing the exact same thing, preventing that pass from getting there in the first place. So then we jump to what happens when Bacot was able to get the ball down in the post, and we're going to look at specifically instances where he attacked. Is UNC is going to do to try and get Bacot open. They simply run a little cross screen, put a screen on Filipowski to get Bacot a little bit of space on the other side. They actually run 2 screens right here. Boom, Bacot gets it in area to work and immediately finishes. Then a few possessions later, again, we're going to see Bacot's going to get the ball swung around to him in the post. Okay, In this situation, this is where Filipowski is currently one-on-one. Duke has not sent help. Okay, and their help comes, and it forces Bacot to shoot a difficult floater. Again, we talked about this is probably a shot that Duke is okay with living. And the final example we're looking at is Bacot attacking last one. Hey, we can see the ball gets into him in the post earlier in the video, where as soon as the double comes, he's going to spin baseline aggressively. Even before the double comes to the base, he spun baseline aggressively, and he's able to get downhill. And he doesn't get the foul, but this time he actually makes the shot instead. And then we jump to the last area, which is how was he able to handle when a double came aggressively and early. And so this is the part I was actually most curious about. I think we learned quite a few things. So the first one is, here comes the double. What's he going to do? He realizes he needs to get rid of it. So one thing I really like about this concept of the double in particular is that as soon as he picks it up, the double leaves again. You don't just stay there. You just make him pick the ball up at a difficult area and then vacate back to your player, and it has to force him out. That would be a win for Duke's defense. Example number 2, we're going to see Bacot post up aggressively right here. Okay, gets the ball, immediately spins. Double comes from 0, which means 24 is open. Okay, so as he spins, does Bacot see this player or this player? That's the question. And so I'm not a huge fan of this jumping to leave your feet, throwing it without a plan in mind. If you have a plan, sure, I don't know, maybe he knows he's going here, but this defender isn't quite committed. So this seems dangerous. That being said, it is a decent pass, not quite on target, but loosely in the right area, and it does lead to a made 3, which is a good pass. Next example, where's the double? Okay, so this is actually, this I think, so the one asterisk here is this is after they've been playing for a considerable amount of time without breaks. Like Filipowski, I think the commentator said he's been sitting there for like 5 minutes or something like that. So this is a pass you got to make, frankly. This is even before the double comes. It's just this player recognizes that it's open to cut, and he cuts right to the middle, and Bacot just misses them pretty badly as well. And so I don't know. The takeaway from that is maybe he's gassed, but that being said, at least he recognizes it's a pass. It's a good cut from the North Carolina player. I love that for sure. But he does definitely miss that pass. And then our final example, we're looking, they're going to swing the ball around, get the ball into Bacot again. Boom, again, we can see that cross screen thing that we talked about. Gonna take a little time, get the arm in front, boom. Okay, where's the double going to come from? I believe it's going to come from 1 right here. Okay, so 1 comes. So 2 is, I believe, the non-shooter. So the issue here is Duke is not in the correct guarding. Like, this dude has got to be splitting the difference between 2 people. You cannot leave 2 with all this space over here. So the first thing is, I'm assuming, I'd have to look at the stats, but I'm assuming 2 isn't a great 3-point shooter because it seems like a pretty good time to throw a 3-point shot, because Bacot put the ball right where it needed to be and you have so much space, but instead he just drives it right away. So again, I think that this defender, you got to take an angle where you at least cut off something. You can't let him have the open 3 and then also have the open drive. And so he is able to get through him, and I believe Bacot cleans it up. So in conclusion, this was a great game for North Carolina. Exciting game to watch, frankly. I think we learned a lot about Bacot and about how Duke was going to guard him and how other teams are going to guard him in the future as well. I'd be curious what any of your thoughts are. Do you think doubling Bacot is the right strategy? Do you think playing him one-on-one with a big post is? Or do you think just trying to front it and make sure he never gets the ball in the first place? North Carolina played a tremendous game, and Bacot gives them a lot of options in the half court as well. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.